Welcome back. Well, this brightens up a rainy day, doesn't it? The Trion Nemesis, the car that I'm not sure has ever actually been produced as a real one. Announced around 2015 as a 2000 horsepower sort of Bugatti Chiron type rival, costing a suitably expensive amount of money by Trion from Las Vegas. I think this could be the build that allows us to keep our Itali GTBs in our real-world car collection and not have them looking too far off at least. As we know, the car's based slightly on a 570S in the sort of front and rear, but the entire cab section, the mirrors and a lot of the body is actually based on the Trion Nemesis, which really helps us out when we're doing this build. The side vents are from a car, I think it might be another one that didn't make production, called the Dagger, but they are a very similar shape and size to the ones on the Nemesis. So overall, I've always thought this car is more Nemesis than it is McLaren. So let's stop trying to build McLarens on the car and let's put together the Nemesis. How to build the Trion, or is it Trion Nemesis? I'm doing this live, apologies for any sort of keyboard clicks. Armour, performance, bulletproof tyres, all up to you. So moving on to the front bumper, I've gone stock. This is the bit that differs the most. These bits here, if they were painted orange in this case, it would be so much better, but there is not quite an alternative. There is one alternative, and that is to actually respray the car black, because I have seen black versions of this shown as well. So if you go primary colour classic black, you can see now that these become more part of the bodywork. It all sort of blends together, so do consider the black version of the car, and we'll talk more about the wheels for that later. So that was the front bumper, just leaving it stock. The rear bumper is going to be the least satisfactory bit, because it's one of the few bits of this car that does look a bit more McLaren around the lights here. What we should have is a massive red area, and we can't do anything about that. Here we're looking for a diffuser this sort of shape. Well, I felt the stock was the nearest to any of these, because otherwise we start adding more bits on the bottom, and although we get a curve, I think it looks more wrong. I'm always cognizant of the fact that these things are parked in garages, so a lot of the time you look at them, the thing that you want to be the most wrong, if you have to have something wrong, is in fact the rear. But anyway, stock for that. Onto the exhaust. We want one big chrome exhaust here, and the chrome triple slotted exhaust is the nearest we're going to get. This spoiler actually takes away from the triple slot aspect, so it just looks like one big slot, which is pretty good. The drop vented hood is the closest. I want a hood with a deeper vent back here, but this one is by far the nearest, as I mentioned. You ought to put car meat lights on it really. I don't think they are on this one, I only bought it recently. Mirrors. Well, these are the Nemesis mirrors that they put on the car. Just leave them as stock, which gives you the perfect primary colour. Plate is up to you. Respray. So, options. Number one, crew colour coming on the screen now. This is a sort of neon orange. Now, I got the neon orange from online, but I added a tiny bit of red to it, because I just felt that it was quite a reddy orange that's on the car. So I think this is a stunning colour. But if you can't do that, you know, you're not a million miles away just by sticking on a classic orange, which is here. It isn't as bright, but it does match the wheels better, and it is easy to achieve. So classic orange, or neon orange for a crew colour. Secondary doesn't matter. It's, I think, something like yellow on here at the moment from something else I was doing, and you can see there's no yellow on the car, so we're not using the secondary colour. For the roof, well, as I mentioned before, this entire roof section is purely from the Nemesis, and that's why they gave us the option, I think, to put this stripe in here, so that's perfect Nemesis roof. Skirts, I just left them stock. They're not quite right for either of the cars that this is based on. Spoiler. Now this is very interesting. What the Nemesis has is a lift up spoiler here, where part of the bodywork lifts out. So if you're just going to park it in your garage, you want none. That would be absolutely perfect. That's exactly how it would be once the spoiler had retracted itself, and it's actually very close. We have a problem if we want the spoiler out. That wing is just wrong. That is obviously wrong for a lift out spoiler. I think it's wrong anyway. It doesn't really look like part of the bodywork. Could do it. The sharp wing, this looks to me a bit like the sort of spoiler that we're looking for. It does look like a little bit of lifted out bodywork. It is, however, coming out of the back. It should be coming out of the top here. However, I say it helps disguise the fact the exhaust are triple slotted rather than one slot. And I don't know, it makes me think the most of that wing. There is, of course, also that one, which again rises out the right part, but it really looks like a fixed racing wing. So I verge between none and exotic sharp wing, leaving the choice up to you. Onto the wheels. Oh, the wheels. Well, I wanted to match these orange wheels, but they're not fully orange. They have some orange and some black. And that is why on here we have, at the moment, I think they're high-end Super G. Because, as you can see, there's an awful lot of black there. So I get my orange spokes, which is great. I get an orange ring, which is not quite so great. They quite evoke for me the right wheels. However, you can, for example, do one or two other things. Firstly, you can go into the sport category and you can take synthetic Z, and this spoke pattern is a lot closer to the correct spoke pattern. But if you do these, I would advise painting them black. I have seen the odd photo of the car with the wheels in just pure black, and of course that's very easy to achieve. So synthetic Z painted black would do you very, very well. Moving on to the windows, every time I see it, it's got a really black tint. I think maybe it's concept car, maybe they didn't want you to look inside very much, I don't know, but I always see a very dark tint, so limo them out. Back into a few more alternatives then. We talked about respraying it in classic black. If you do this, you can, with the wheels, go into sport, go into chrome, go down to synthetic Z. I won't spend the money, but you get this look to the car. This is the other, I think, really, really valid look for the car. I've seen a photo of it in black with a chrome wheel. It helps disguise the fact that this front end isn't quite the right shape. I think it works really, really well, and I'm actually 50-50 on how I'm going to keep the car. So black with chrome synthetic Zs, or with the crew colour. Now I am a sucker, I must admit, for a nice bright crew colour, so that probably is it for me, the orange Super Gs with the crew colour. So there we are, a few alternatives for you to build this car. I would really, really like your opinion on this specific build for this car. Is this car to you more Nemesis than it is McLaren? Is this the best way to finally leave the car? I think it is. Love to know what you think. I got the most down votes on a video that I've ever got on the two Tate brothers builds on this car, trying to build their 720s. And it could be down to the Tates, and I would understand that, but I think given the nature of this channel, it was probably the fact that, come on, Retset, do you really think these look like 720s? No, I don't. I don't. I made that very clear at the beginning with the joke about shutting one eye, etc. But the builds were requested a lot, and I thought it's only fair to at least attempt them after they were requested by people. The very short remainder of this video is done with in-game footage rather than the cinematics we started with. The reason is the cinematics add a lot of time to making these videos, and it's time I just don't have at the moment. I've been busy with both personal projects and with life, and so GTA's taken a bit of a back seat, to be honest. I have been playing some games, but they've been other games to relax with. But anyway, I will still keep making content. I'm aware this is the first video for nearly 2 weeks, and that's been too long. I'll try to get them out a bit more regularly, but they will be in-game footage, and I'm going to try and catch up on a few more viewer requests. The BMW X5 request has been filmed all in-game. That's the only one I've done at the moment, though, so I need to get on with them. Anyway, it's time for me to get out of here. The video is getting quite long, so if you like real cars in GTA, even if they were not perhaps produced, and you like displaying them, etc., then please do consider a sub to this channel. Also, like it if you liked it, that would mean a lot to me. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching.